I'm not a huge fan of Nelson Mandela, but I love one of the quote he said when he was launching one of the organization called the Mindset Network. And he said that education is the most powerful weapon. Of course, we know the history of Nelson Mandela. A weapon means not really violence, it's survivor to him, right? So education is the most powerful weapon we can use to do what? To change the world. I think change the world better, right? So I just believe so. I think the education, we are just to bring our students the present status, the better status, better physical or mindset. So I think the education is the most powerful weapon. And I was really astonished when I went to the GEO Summit that Google the Google Earth outreach team said, Judy, our mission is this. You want to change the world? Yes. Then we want to help you. So I thought, yes, so then maybe I can use these tools in my classes. So now let me just get into the GEO tools. Do I speak too fast or do I make you bored? I mean, if you're okay, you can just wave at me. I cannot see everybody in this room, but if you just show me a little bit of a reaction, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Yes, these are the GEO tools, most popular GEO tools so far. But I'm sure that sometime next year, if I meet you guys again, probably we'll have a more list about the Google Maps and then Street View, My Maps, Google Earth. These are most popular ones. And based on these tools, so they create some other actually additional tools and apps we can use called the Tour Builder and Google Earth Engine. And then we call it like ODK, Open Data Kit, and also Google Maps API. I'm not throwing these all to you and says, oh, these are everything you have to learn. No, I don't even know like everything. But my favorite is actually Tour Creator. That's what I'm going to actually share with you. Now, before I just move on to Tour Creator, maybe we can just read this one all together. Everybody's ready? Yes, the best way to learn is actually participate, right? So if I say 1, 2, 3, let us just read this one together. Googles. Are you guys ready? Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Google's geo mapping tools enable students in classrooms to go everywhere, learn about anywhere, create rich experiences, and share stories that matter. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, so this is probably this is the reason you are teaching your students history, social studies, geography, right? You want your students to matter not only now or not only their own good, but they can learn from the past and they can just make the world better. And especially in this situation we are facing, all of us are facing COVID-19. We want to take our students everywhere. We want them to learn about anywhere. But is it possible for now? Let's make it possible. So Tour Creator is the tool we can add a story. Now, does it look familiar to you? This is the one of the city I traveled about 3 years ago. This city is called Mengxiao. It's in the borderline between France and Germany, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. I wish I can just have a chance to visit there one more time. Now, there's a funny story. When I actually Google it, Mengxiao, this is the usual image I get. And I went there with my husband, and this is the picture he took, same place. And this is the picture I took. We went to the same place, but the pictures were different. I mean, of course, I, as a wife, I just wanted to kind of push him, why you have this dark gray picture? Didn't you have a wonderful time? No, but as a language teacher, I wanted to hear why we see the same place in different perspective, a different understanding, different experience. So I just let him talk, and I was fascinated. Oh, of course, I was disappointed a little, but I was fascinated because we see the same place in different perspective. how can I just use this one to our class curriculum? Because as a language teacher, I want to hear my students' different stories. When I go to class on Monday morning, hello everyone, how was your weekend? And everybody, I did homework. I did homework. I did homework. So 35 students, 40 students say same thing. No, I want to hear different parts, different stories. It's okay. You didn't do homework, but I want to hear the diverse story. So how can I actually let our students to tell their stories, not only verbally, but express themselves and then make their thinking more visual? So that's the tool I found. I can help our students, and it's been helping our students a lot to let them just to tell me about their version of stories. Now, Tour Creator is a tool to create a virtual field trip, and then moving from consumers to creator. This is not what Judy said. That's what Google said. But there are some of the letters written in Korean. I didn't erase it because the reason I left it is this is how I felt about this tool. And first word, it says 공간, which is I called, yes, place. So I can bring that place to me, or I can bring myself to that place. And the second one says 순간. 순간 means a moment. Yes, I can actually bring the memory and story into that moment. And the last one says 이야기의 곳간. It means storage of stories. So we can add a lot of stories into it. And then maybe later on, you will find out that what Judy is talking about. If you Google Tour Creator, this is the first scene you are going to see. As you can see, that the page moves a 360-degree image, because after they finish the creation, they use this cardboard, and once they view it, they can see the 360 image and just feel like you are right in the center of a Colosseum. So what is a Tour Creator? The Tour Creator is VR, virtual reality storytelling online tool. You can create the tool with your PC, but you can view what you created through your mobile phone or your tablet or your PC. And since we use VR, we can create a 360-degree tour. And this is actually URL, you can just click and link. I try not to click right now because it might just slow down a little bit for our presentation. So I'll just go just a little later on. And then probably you know the Google tools. Whatever we create, we can share the link. So we can share what we create, and also you can share the link with me, and I can view what you create. Now, if you have only 360 image itself, that is just to seeing a picture you take, just like your selfie. Yes, I was in Italy. That's it. But in this Tour Creator, you can embed, you can add some information into it, such as the text information, or you can add some sound with MP3 file, or you can put your voice into it, narration, or you can overlay image into it too. So you can create the image not only by text, but with the voice and also image too. So as a language teacher, I think that this is a great tool for me to help our students to practice listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So let's go through a little bit more. Are you ready to create a tour together with me? Yes? Okay, thank you. Now, first of all, today is not a tutorial. Don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to create anything. Just to sit back, get some tea, and just relax. But the reason Judy is showing this one is not to freak you out, but I just want to show you how easy it is. And also, while you are listening to Judy, you can have in your mind that, how I can use it in my history class, how I can use it in my social science class, how I can use it in my, world history classes. So I wish you have a little bit of actually mindset. That's all I want. So please sit back and then just try to listen how we can create together. So once you just Google Tour Creator, and then they ask you to add a scene. But before actually go into how to just create the tour, I want you just to imagine, okay, I want to create a magazine and I want to publish the magazine. What do you need? Oh, yes, I need a cover page. Yes, cover girl. Yes, Manita, you have a beautiful smile. I wish I can just have you in my magazine. So you need like a cover page, and also you need chapters and pages inside, and you need some of the information into it. So you can just think the tour creator is just a digital magazine with a VR or 360 image. So you are going to add a scene. To add the scene means you are going to add the pages. So then you need the 360-degree imagery, right? So either you can just get that image from Street View. You can just search the location. Judy, I want to go to New York. Okay, so near the Statue of Liberty. You just type it. And then there will be some of the pictures already someone else uploaded or the Google uploaded. You can actually import it. You can just get it and create it. Or if you have a camera, just like me, or if you have like appropriate like mobile app, you can take your own image and you can upload it. Uploading means you can add. And then once you finish creating, you can see the 360 image. And also you can see the images you overlaid, some of the text you added. And that's how it feels when you just actually see your tour creator created in your PC. But if you view it with your mobile phone, okay, you need the Expedition to download and then slid into your cardboard. And then you are going to actually see this kind of view. So if you move around, then you are going to just feel like I'm in the center of the Mountain Everest. I'm right under the Eiffel Tower. And then just so you can just feel very authentic view of the tour you created. So you can create the tour and you can add the story, but by image, by text, or by sound. So we can add the scenes and then we can do the project together. So when I found this tool, yes, number one, I was fascinated. I used it in the class. Students loved it. But that wasn't good enough for me. I wanted to do something meaningful. So the project I ran called Love Where You Live. Actually, the place I live in, it's called the city of Suwon. If you have ever chance to come to Suwon, you will see that a lot of kind of artifacts in the Suwon is so historical. But since I live in here, I never realized or appreciated how beautiful and how wonderful this city was. But when I was running this project, I learned myself how fortunate I am in living in this beautifully preserved the city. Back then, I was using this camera called Samsung Gear. Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't get any the sponsoring or anything, not PR. You can use the Ricoh Theta 360-degree camera too. But back then, I just chose this one, number one. This is only like $100 US, but Ricoh Theta, it was back then about $700. So I chose this one too. And later I'm going to tell you about the Stitch too, but the Samsung was providing some of the free 360 image editing the program. So that's why I chose this one. So once you take out this camera and take a picture, not only this camera, any kind of 360 camera, once you take the picture, you will see these two different images like this. Just the way it looks. You can see that there's a camera and there is a camera on the other side. So take a picture like this. But the image I want is not these two separate circles. That's why we have to put those images together in this process called a stitching. And as I mentioned earlier, the Samsung was providing the free the program to the consumers of this camera. All you have to do is just to import the image. Then they just put the images together, and then they have a very easy way to stitching. So what I did was take out the camera and then myself walk around the neighborhood and took a picture. And I came back home and I realized that I took the pictures only the way I see it, only the one I attract me. And I realized that is so subjective, not educational. Judy, come on. So I contact some of the international students studying in my university, or some of the local international school teachers, and then ask them to run the project together. So every weekend we met in the campus, and then we try to just to actually go to the places they want to take a picture with. And then I was amazed. There were some of the places I always thought not meaningful, but through their eyes, through the pictures they took, the places not meaningful, actually very meaningful. And I learned a new information and history, and then also information about the social studies about some of the local places. And after I done collecting all the information, interview, sound, images, I create the tour creator called Google King Jungjo. Are you ready to take a look at this tour? Now, I wish everybody can actually hear the sound. Now, as you can see, once you create a tour, you can move around your mouse and show around this 360 image. And then this is the information I added, whether this is the text image or whether this is the different kind of information I can add in. And then what happened in this place 100 years ago. And also, I'm going to turn on a sound. Juanita, can you hear the sound? Can you hear the sound? Now, so once you create it, you can actually show your tour through PC like this. And then all you have to do is go to the setting and turn on the sound. Then you can actually play the music or ambient sound or narration you embed into this tour. I'm going to share this link later on, so you can actually just view this tour anytime you're convenient. And once you create it, as I mentioned before, they can use the mobile phone, and then only this costs only probably less than $2 US dollars, and then they can actually view their virtual tours. And they are in the center of probably downtown of Kathmandu city. But if I send this link to you, and then you activate the Google Expeditions, and you have this $2 worth cardboard, once they just put it on, they feel like they're in the center of Suwon city. And then they can hear the narration and the sound. And also you can actually get the feedback from the students, or you can actually ask them, do you want to know more about this city? Okay, let's dig in. And they can actually start their own project, own research about the Suwon city too. That's the Google Expeditions. So you can just get it, the app in your mobile phone too. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how Judy create this. So I'm not going to just to make it really long. I'm going to just to go short as possible. But I want to just show you little steps you can follow up. The reason I'm doing this one is not to scare you out, just to show you how simple it is. If you just open your Chrome browser, then simply you can type in this link. I'm going to share this slide later on, so you can just relax, and then you can just see what you can do step by step. I know a lot of you are taking notes so hard. I really appreciate it. And then once you actually log in, it's going to ask you to add a cover page. Now, I told you that Tour Creator is just like a digital magazine. So we need the cover. As I said, Manita has a beautiful smile. I want to just add her to my this beautiful person I met in Nepal. So you need a cover photo. And then you need a title. The magazine needs a title, right? So whether this is for fishing, this is for architecture, this is for fashion. So you need a title. And then a little bit of a description, whether in Nepali or English, whatever the language you are teaching. And then a little bit of description about what this tour about. Is this about the history of Nepal? Is this about like a revolution? Like you ask your students at. But the one thing cool part about this Tour Creator is they cannot just copy and paste it. Why not? Because there is a certain number of words. like 300 to 500 words. So they need to read the text, understand, and summarize in their own words. So this is, even the first page is educational. And then choosing the category is optional, whether this is education, history, architecture, or culture, or human. Okay, you can just choose it. And then once you add all the information and right at the bottom, there's a create. So you just hit the create button. Then after that, it asks you to add a scene. Add a scene. So add a scene means you are adding the pages, chapters. So you have now only cover page. So you need to add. And those scenes will be 360 images. Now, as I just mentioned very earlier of this presentation, I said you can add the 360 image from Street View. If you do not have any camera, don't worry about it. And in this COVID situation, you don't want to take your students out there and take pictures. All they have to do is just type in the place they want to go. And then it will show you several pictures they can choose. So, but that picture comes from Street View. I'm sure that Sagun and Sushil's going to actually introduce you more about it. But you can just get the 360 image from Street View. But if you happen to have your own image, then you can click upload, and then you can upload from your PC. Now, after you actually add the scene, as you can see, the photo you added is the place you want to go or you want to create a story with, and 360 image. And then on the right-hand side, they're going to ask you, okay, what is this place? Okay, this is Brooklyn Park. Okay, where's the location? Okay, so 25, like the Brooklyn Street. You can just actually add the actual the address too, and also description about this place. And also, as I said in the cover page too, students cannot just add all the information they want. They need to summarize it within 300 to 500 words. And there's a credits. Credits means where did you get this information? I love this part too. We can just teach them about digital citizenship, you know, and then because your reference, where did you get this? Okay, I got this information from my social study teacher, like Goma. Then I can say my social study teacher Goma. Yes, I can actually just to add the source of information into it. And then you can see the little icons here. The first one is actually you can add ambient sound. Ambient sound means the sounds you can actually add into this place to recognize this place. If this place is industrial area, maybe you can add some machinery sound. If this is the place for like a farming, you know, then probably you can add some of like sounds of tractors or, you know, some of the farmers singing, you know. So that's the ambient sound. So once you just create and then put into it, just more authentic, not only just viewing, and it comes with the sound together. And the little icon on the right side is the narration. So you can use the the voice kind of apps. So you can get the text and let the machine read. But for me as a language teacher, I ask students to read this description. And so students read this description and record it to their mobile phone or even their PC or Chromebook. And then they can actually add their voice into it. So not only just writing the text, they can actually read several times. You know, your students, they want to just come out with the best narration. So they read over and over again. And once they have like one perfect part they think, by the time then they almost memorize the part they actually add this one. And then that's the part I was very fascinated as a language teacher, how much they practice hard. I don't have to push them. And then once you are done, then this scene is over, but that's not it yet. I love this part. You can see this little icon says I. First time when I saw it, I thought I information. No, in this tool, we call it point of interest, POI. The point of interest means, yes, I have a 360 image. This is the park of Brooklyn. But I want to add more information in specific point of a place. For example, right now, this is kind of like harbor deck. But 50 years ago, it was a fish market. and I want to add the image, what happened 50 years ago, and why it's not a fish market any longer. So you can actually add the information called the point of interest, same as before. Okay, what's the title of this point of information? And what information you want to add? Any image you want to overlay? Yes, the fish market, picture of a fish market 50 years ago. And also there's also narration part. I love it. So students can read what they write and create their own voice and share the link with others. And then the fun part of this tour creator is students can add as many points of interest as possible. So 360 image, just one. But some students, they add like 37 points of interest. So more they dig in, they want to tell more story. Now, so as I said, this point of interest, you can add as many as possible, and then you can just move around and then change the locations too. And you can overlay the image too. And once you overlay the image, you can just actually adjust the size, big or small. And also, I know there's a pointer showing, but at the bottom it says, for example, when you are actually creating or publishing your own magazine, there are some of the parts you are not really happy about. You want to just delete it, rip it up. Same as tour creator too. If there is any specific scene you are not happy about or not really relevant to, the topic you are creating, then you can simply just click and then erase it. Or you can actually switch around the sequence of the scenes to just to make a flow, natural flow of, the story going. And once you're all done, or even though you're partially done, and you can actually hit the publish button and then you can publish it. It doesn't show really clearly, so I just prepared my own the publish button too. So you can just hit the publish button, and then after that, it's going to lead you to choose whether you are going to publicly visible or whether you want just to show this tour to specifically people you share the link with. And once you decide, you publish it. Once you publish, it's going to create the link, and you can copy the link and share the link. Then students can just view it with their PC, or if they have a cardboard, they can use their mobile phone, and then they can see more like authentic VR tour too. Or you can just view the tour, click the view the tour, then you can just actually see like this, the one you show. So you can just create, and if you do not have a cardboard, still you can experience a 360 image with a lot of information student added into it. Now that's about how you can create. So simply, I try to just to summarize and make it simple, but just to imagine you are creating digital magazine, cover page, explanation, and also categorizing. And then get some kind of 360 image from Street View. And then you have a little bit of explanation, and you can add some images or ambient sound, or you can actually read the text, put your own narration. And then if there are some of the points you add information, you use the function called point of interest, and then you can overlay the image or your narration or text. So then you can just add more scenes, more point of interest to have a really authentic or rich storytelling tool with VR. Now, I know all of you here are researchers, educators, teachers, or like admins in the education district. We should talk about how we can use this one in the field of education. So I prepared how might we question. Some of you are studying like design thinking. Maybe you are very familiar with this how might we question. So how might we leverage tour creator to enhance students' learning experience, experiential learning? How? Yes. Well, while you are thinking, I'm going to show you short clip, and then maybe you can just have a little bit of time to think about it. So I'm going to play this.
I was born and raised here in Lancaster.
It is definitely a big farming community.
You see family farms everywhere you go.
And I think it's really cool that we have this opportunity to share our way of life.
How we're going to do this is using a new tool called Tour Creator.
It's an interactive, easy-to-use tool that allows our students to create rich 360-degree experiences.
You will see the photos that the Ag Department and the Art Department have supplied.
Add a title and description, click on that, and then it'll bring up the street view. We can plug that into the actual tour.
It will definitely inspire me to show more of Lancaster, and hopefully it'll inspire people to do the same.
And it's wonderful that we can have our students interacting with all of these other student stories across the globe.
This is Chicago's little village neighborhood.
It's very close living quarters, very different from around here.
We were just looking at the one from Bali. Their classes are basically outside.
I really thought that was neat. Everybody's different on the way they like living.
And every place has a unique story.
So this is how the other schools implement this tool to their education field. And a lot of teachers collaborate, and even districts collaborate together. For example, districts, they have a drone, or they have a budget for 360 the cameras, and they actually take pictures and share those images with the schools so students can create too. And also some of the science teachers or mathematics teachers use the picture of a pyramid and ask them to just to learn about Pythagorean theory too. So a lot of emerge or like a blended learning we can run too. So what about you? How would you like to use this one to your classroom? Okay, I cannot really hear from each one of you. I wish we have a chance for that, but this is how we've been using in South Korea. The first project I already mentioned, Love Where You Live, take students browse about and learn more about the place they live in. And this is also the school teacher who actually took students out there and then asked students to actually add some information to share with the students living in different cities. And this is also the project I love very much. It's called the Love Where You Study. Especially like schools in South Korea starts from not September, in March. So some of the students, they never met teachers in person and then starting this distance learning, or some of the newbies, new students, they never been to their school. So they don't know what it looks like. And so the students who knows well about their schools or teachers, they create the school guideline or school safety story with a tour creator and share the link with the students and also parents. And also these days, this is the project we are working on. We try to put the literature into the tour creator. Students just read a book and then they just write the book report. They get bored, but they read the book and then they create a tour creator and to have a better understanding for the readers who haven't actually read those stories, and maybe they can actually add some of the stories about the author's history or some of the like a historical background. And this is also how we use it. And then some of the students, they can't afford or they cannot really just go physically to some of the places. Then they can create their own virtual actually trip itinerary. So this is the kind of the slides I share with some of the school teachers. If the students cannot access the digital tools, they can share the Google Slides or they can print it out. Students can add some of the idea into this worksheet. And this is the picture of the project they run. So students actually fill in some of the worksheets and then get some information through their mobile phone or their tablet. And then they just take the camera to the places they want to take a picture. And then they interview some of the experts and collect more information. And once they create the tour, they have a showcase with the students in other countries, Singapore or Taiwan or Philippines. I wish we can just have a showcase together with students and teachers in Nepal too. And then this is a middle school student who's creating the future housing. So he wants to live in the center of New York. So he tried to add some of the images for the future housing too. So creative. And then this is the smile. I cannot really resist, this is probably the smile you're expecting from your students. And also the project running school to school. So students actually have some of the question about the other school. And then they add the questions into the Google Sheet. And the other school students take this kind of like the waiters are taking order. So take a look at the questions and create the tour and send the answers, not by like verbally or with the text, with the tour creator. So they actually exchange like the school cultures and school information. And this is also very fascinating part. Each group of students are creating digital textbook with the tour creator. And then after that, they add some of the questions into the point of interest. And then the answer, students need to write down the answer in worksheet. So the students experience just like the teacher. They create the exam, quiz, and they have to add some of the images. So while they're creating tour creator, the powerful and dynamic learning takes place. And to make this one happen, definitely we need to train teachers, and teachers must feel comfortable using these tools. So, but students learn a lot quicker than teachers. So I try to just to manage this website. This website is for getting all those tour links, and then add this one and send this link to the each school. And then teachers can only just click it and easily view their tour. And this is also very meaningful. The Korean students, they are creating the Korean language version of a tour creator, and we are sharing the link with the 2,000 Korean language schools in Europe and North America and in Australia. So students can view it, and then they learn the sound of Korean language and text and image about the Korean language. So this actually helps like young learners to learn about different languages. And this is the tour builder. I mean, I'm sure the Sagun is going to introduce about like a Google Earth and mind maps too, but this is also another storyteller tool you can use called like a tour builder. And also some of you are, or you have a fellow teachers teaching like a literature. It's called like a tour lit. So you can use this kind of a storytelling tool too. Now, I'm almost done. I know some of you are really tired. I'm almost done. But before I actually wrap up, I am going to share with you something very meaningful to me. So I hope this is meaningful to you. Maybe some of you just started these Google tools, or maybe you think, Judy, come on, I'm not the tech savvy. I don't know anything about technology. Judy, just cut the crap. I don't want to do anything. I'm just here because I have to. Now, I was just like that. Just 2 years ago. So I want to share the short story about cucumber. Any of you like a cucumber? Okay, maybe some of you, yeah, some of you don't, or some of you probably do. Now, cucumber, like if you never really have a bite of a cucumber, you don't know how juicy it is, right? Maybe some people use cucumber for their dehydration. So this is probably their water resources. Or maybe some people, it's the resources of a mineral or vitamin. Or some people they use for their sunburn. Or some people they use for their recipe, for their like a salad. Or maybe some people have allergic, just like my brother, he's allergic to cucumber. But until you have a bite of it, you never know. So what I try to tell you is, don't be scared of just to get use these tools, not just be very good at it, be expert, but at least to click, and then browse around and see how this cucumber tool can help you to make your students' learning more powerful and more fun. I was just like that. I mean, next year I'm going to be 50 years old. Like this year, I mean, next month I'm going to be 49. And so I've been teaching in university for 21 years. I mean, I don't usually talk about my age, but the reason I'm telling you is once you are in the field of a certain education field in certain years, you have your own comfort zone, right? And you don't want to get out of that because you hate failure. You hate the criticize it, right? So I was just like that. So I was in my comfort zone for 21 years. And then once I just get to know about level 1, yes, if you fail, you have to just take the exam, not even just to, once you just fail it, you have to wait 2 weeks. But I tried level 1, level 2, and then when I was taking level 2, there was not any woman trainer in South Korea. But I wanted to try out. Most of the trainers back then, young and very tech savvy, like, background in computer science, very good at coding. But I wanted to go for it because I knew there are some teachers just like me. So I went for trainer. I became a first woman trainer in Korea. And also I thought, yes, why not innovator? And I think going for the Innovators Academy is one of the best thing I ever done, because I met great educator like Sushil and a lot of good educators. And now they're my best friends. And also I just went forward and forward. I'm telling you, I failed level 2. So when I was just moving out from my comfort zone, there was not only success, a lot of failures. But when I just walk through this failure and success, the magic thing happened to me. I met very good friends, and then I saw the beautiful smile from my students. I even went to San Francisco and trained the students there. Can you believe that? Like, I'm from Korea. I went to the city where the Google and Microsoft, Amazon is. I trained the high school students. I just had a presentation. So everybody, do not worry about failures. Celebrate your failures. This is what I learned in Google Innovators Academy. When I was there, I failed so many times. And then every single day, I tried to just reschedule my flight back to Korea because I hated my failures. But my team, friends, they said, Judy, that's okay. And whenever I fail, the Google was giving me presents. Judy, you failed. Congratulations. And then that really allowed me to be more creative. And also, I can celebrate my students' failures. And they appreciate by learning more and giving back with a better result. So I really want you to keep in mind that we are teachers, but we are not God. And then we can just make still failures, that the failures we learn and we move forward. So if you have no one around, cherish your failures. You have me, Judy, and try to find a good group of people. I'm sure Sagun and Sushil, they're wonderful. They're going to also celebrate your failures. And then try to just allow yourself to dive into these tools, facilitate your students' learning and for your students' own good. That's it for today. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you found this session very useful. Hope to see you guys again.